What's up, guys? Welcome to Average Joe's Whiskey. Today I'm going through 6 bottles that I think are either underrated or overrated. Let's get into it. Alright, so these are either going to be bottles that I had high expectations for and they under-delivered, or bottles that I had low or no expectations for and they over-delivered. So the overrated bottles could be overrated because of price. Maybe they get too much hype. The underrated bottles are typically going to be bottles that are either a great value or just bottles that don't get the praise that I feel they deserve. There are a lot of those out there. So today we're going to cover a few. All right, let's start this list off with a bang. So first up is an overrated bottle that gets a lot of love. A lot of people love this bottle, and it's not Blanton's. I made a conscious effort not to put Blanton's on this list because it's on everybody's overrated list. Everybody knows it's overrated. I'm gonna leave Blanton's alone. Instead, we're gonna kick this list off with Blanton's Gold. What's more overrated than Blanton's? Blanton's Gold. All right, I'm gonna taste these as I go through to make sure my opinions hold up, but all I've ever heard about Blanton's Gold before I tried it was how much better it is than Blanton's. I got news for you. It's not that much better. 10 proof points higher than Blanton's, but $120 retail. It's almost double the price of a bottle of Blanton's for an extra 10 proof points. Still 6 to 8 years old. I gotta tell you, when I first got this bottle, I was really looking forward to opening it, and I was just underwhelmed. Now don't get me wrong, it's still a good bourbon. It's just, honestly, I don't think it's worth the retail price. And you'll see this bottle regularly on the secondary market for like $200, $250, which is just crazy to me. I see regular Blanton's for $150, so, I mean, what are we doing here, seriously? It's got a little more spice than regular Blanton's, a little more interesting on the nose, still very sweet. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's not a $120 bottle of whiskey. I'm sorry. It's just not. I mean, I'll still drink it. Honestly, I will probably save this bottle for people who come over and want to try Blanton's Gold. I'm not going to be drinking a lot of this one. Next up. All right, so that was our first overrated bottle. Let's do an underrated. This is a bottle that I got on clearance. Bardstown collab with the West Virginia Barrel Company. So this is, I guess this is a rye, but this is actually a blend of 6-year-old rye whiskey and 12-year-old Canadian whiskey. The mash bill for the Canadian is 100% corn. So it could be a light whiskey that they blended it with, but this thing is incredible. This is, I think it retails for like $160, but I was able to get this on clearance for half the price. I probably never would have tried it if I didn't find it for that $80, but I am so glad that I bought this thing. It is just incredible. Incredible mouthfeel. This thing is super thick. Great cherry note. Really, really sweet. Man. So the nose is kind of a mix of like a really sweet cherry and a little bit of that minty rye. Those minty rye herbal notes. They don't tell you how much of the Canadian whiskey is blended in. So I don't know if it's a true rye, but they kind of list it in the rye category. It's one of the best ryes I've ever had. I have to say, this thing is, it's nuts. It is nuts. Yeah, so the other cool thing about this, so it's the 6-year rye, the 12-year-old Canadian, and then they finish it in infrared toasted cherry oak barrels. I don't know how they infrared toast the barrels. I don't know what that means, but whatever they did, it turned out great. It turned out amazing. And I like how they implemented the cherry wood. They also did that on their Origin series. This is the Origin, the new Bardstown Origin series rye. This one, 96 proof. I think this is $69, something like that. And this is their own 6-year-old rye. But they finished this in toasted cherry wood and oak barrels. So either I don't know how they're doing it. Maybe they're using cherry staves. I don't know. But this is a really good one too. So if you can't find the West Virginia Barrel Company collab, the Origin Rye is a good one to hunt down. Pretty easy to find. But man, this one, amazing. 110 proof, really interesting, really sweet, and very complex. I really like that. All right, let's keep it moving along. Let's get back to an overrated bottle. All right, so this one hurts me a little bit because I had high hopes. The Penelope Toasted. First, I have to say I'm a huge fan of Penelope. I like a lot of their whiskeys. I really do. The Toasted, though, just kind of missed the mark for me. And I'm a big fan of a lot of toasted bourbons. I like the toast. I think it adds a lot of great vanilla flavors, and a lot of interesting notes come out of toasted barrels from time to time. But the Penelope is just, it's too toasted. Yeah, like it just smells like toasted wood. If you take whiskey and you put it in a jar and you take some oak and you toast it in the oven and you put it in the whiskey, after a few weeks, the whiskey is gonna smell like this. Like this literally just smells like toasted oak. And I guess that, I mean, that's what it is. So, I mean, they really got that toasted oak going on here, but it's just a toasted oak bomb. There's no subtlety. It's just, it smells like toasted oak. It has a nice palate. When I pay like $60+ for a bottle of whiskey, I don't want it to smell like something I made at home. That's all. That's my only complaint with the Penelope. Yeah, all right. We'll keep moving here. All right, back to another underrated bottle. Here we have Remis Highest Rye. So this is a bottle I found late last year. This is allocated in Virginia, which is kind of stupid. They released this at an ABC drop, and it was on the shelf for many days after the drop. People were just completely ignoring it. It's a 6-year-old bourbon, 51% corn, 39% rye, and 10% malted rye. So it's 49% rye total, which is the highest amount of rye you can have in a bourbon. They use the malted rye instead of the malted barley to give it more of a rye flavor. So this is like a $50 to $60 bottle, 109 proof. 109 proof, and really, really interesting. I basically had no expectations when I bought this bottle. I really like a lot of the Remis bottles. I like MGP whiskey, and I'm a fan of the Remis. The regular Remis is good. The store picks are good. The Repeal Reserve, often very good, and it's sweet on the nose. You get a lot of those. You get a lot of those rye notes. It's not quite as rye forward as you might think it is for being like 49% rye, but it's definitely got some sweetness. It's got some spice. Really nice nose. The front of the palate is very sweet, like your typical bourbon. And then mid palate, it hits you with that rye spice. And it's just a really, really nice, really interesting experience. I gotta give big props to MGP with that Remis Highest Rye. I'm a big fan. All right guys, let's get back to another overrated bottle. This one's gonna piss some people off, I'm sure. But there's an asterisk here. So let me finish before you go nuts on me. 1792 full proof. So this is not a bad bottle. This is $50. It's a great deal. It's just this bottle gets pumped up a lot as being one of the best values on the market. People hunt for this. It can be difficult to find. So I was looking for this bottle like hardcore for like a while, and I was so excited when I found it, and it didn't blow me away. It wasn't great. However, if you come across the 1792 full proof pick, the barrel picks are very good. Like some of these are remarkably phenomenal. For a $50 bottle of whiskey, these I would say are underrated. So this is kind of an overrated, underrated thing. And I have heard that the new releases of the 1792 full proof, not the barrel picks, just the regular shelf 1792 full proof, I've heard that the newer releases are better. So this may be one that I have to take back. But in general, this bottle's I think this bottle's a couple years old. You can see how much I've drank. It's just, I'm not in love with it. This one, however, I like a lot more. This is very good. So 1792 full proof, overrated and underrated. Let's try a sip of this pick here. This one was selected by the Virginia ABC. I don't know who at ABC is picking barrels, but whoever they are, they're not total morons. A lot of the Virginia ABC picks that I've had have been pretty good. Yeah, it's a really nice nose. Like, it's just really jumping out of the glass. And this one has a lot of depth to it too. The non-barrel pick 1792 that I have just comes off a little bit flat, which is one of the reasons it didn't blow me away when I first tried it. But anyway, all right, let's keep going. Last bottle on the list, guys. This is our last underrated bottle, and it's kind of weird to say that it's underrated because this bottle does get a lot of praise. Barrel Bourbon. So this is batch 35. But honestly, anything from barrel is great. All right, I broke out the Vantage. If you can't find a batch 35, go get yourself a Vantage. This is almost everywhere, and it's really good. So these are cask strength. The Vantage and the Seagrass and the Dovetail and all those are finished. They're all finished whiskeys. Whereas the Barrel Bourbon is just a blend of some younger, some older bourbons with different mash bills. But Barrel is really good at blending. I'd say when it comes to blending, Barrel, honestly, they can compete with anybody. But this batch 35 I really like. The nose presents very much like a rye. Like, it's real spicy on the nose, but then when you drink it, on the palate, it's really sweet. So it almost noses like a rye and sips like a bourbon, which is very interesting. But I mean, hats off to Barrel. They knock it out of the park year after year. Great job, Barrel Bourbon. All right, that's all I got, guys. I hope you enjoyed this list. Hope it was helpful. Hope it was informative. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, please subscribe, do whatever you do. And please leave a comment. If you disagree with one of the bottles on the list, please let me know. If you have any other bottles that should have been on the list, please let me know that too. And all right, I gotta go watch football, guys. It's late. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.